Go. Hi, everybody. It's Stacy Narcato-Welp, the Director of Student Support Services, and I'm here with a special guest.
Hi there, I'm Tracy Bateman. I am the math specialist in SSS.
And we wanted to give you just a couple of updates to think about as we enter week 2 and talk about a topic that is near and dear to Tracy and her work with our students, which is just helping you get organized. So Tracy, I'm wondering if you can share with our students some tips and tricks that might be helpful to them getting the semester started.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I do besides helping students with their math classes is that I like to meet with students and help them basically get organized. How do you manage your time? How do you get your study time built in? How do you figure out what to do with your synchronous classes versus your asynchronous classes? So that's something that if you're struggling with, you can make an appointment to visit me and we can kind of talk about that and work that out. But today, Stacy and I wanted to get together to just give you a few quick tips to get you started with that. And then if it's something you find you want to talk more about, you can make an appointment with me and we can talk in depth about these things. But something that's really been coming up a lot is students who say, okay, I have these asynchronous classes and they kind of throw me off. I don't know what to do with them. And so like my number one tip for people who are trying to get organized is to treat your asynchronous class as if it's a synchronous class. Set a specific time on specific days that you're going to act like you're going to class. So if you have a math class that normally would meet on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but your professor tells you it's asynchronous, still do it on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at that specific time so that you know you're getting it done instead of just saying, oh, I can do it whenever I want. And then unfortunately, sometimes you don't even do it.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I think for all of us in this virtual world, it's tough. It's nice to be on your own schedule, but then it's also tough to be on your own schedule. Um, what's something that a student can do when they're taking a look at their schedule and they think that there's a topic that they might have some difficulty with? Is it better for them to just wait and see, or should they reach out and maybe talk to somebody about some of the projects and things that they have coming up for the semester?
You know, there's really two ways that that can be done. The first way I think that first thing I think you should do is really to get that organized. And that's one of the things that I wrote down as my top tips is to get some sort of a planner, whether you use a book planner or whether you use, you know, the calculator or not the calculator, the calendar that's on your computer or on your phone. The best thing to do is to get out each syllabus that you got for your classes and say, okay, I have a project due, you know, in my science class. I have a paper due in my writing class. I have, you know, a test coming up in this class, and put all of those very specific dates down so that you can see, oh, you know, maybe in this one certain week, you're going to have a bunch of stuff due. And then you can plan ahead for that and say, I'm going to need help that week because I've got a lot going on. And then you can figure out how to spread that out over your time frame. That way you can look at a wide range of when do I have things going on? When do I have my free time? How am I going to get all that stuff done? And then that would lead you to saying, okay, I know I'm going to have a paper. Well, maybe I need to talk to the writing tutors, or maybe I need to get a hold of Luke ahead of time so that he can help me with this process. Or I have a test coming up in my math class. I want to meet with the math tutors to do some review, things like that.
So if I hear what you're saying correctly, I don't necessarily have to have a specific problem to reach out to you or the writing specialist or our math and science tutors. If I just want to review something, if I just want to
Definitely.
make sure I'm on the right track, I
Yeah.
can make an appointment and reach out and we can have a conversation about what I'm learning.
Right, and that's very important for, I think, our students to understand. And it's even more important, I think, to understand you don't even need an appointment a lot of times. If you're working on something or you see that you've got something coming up and you suddenly realize, well, I have questions about that, we have drop-in hours too, where you can simply say, you know what, I know Tracy's the math specialist. I'm going to send her a message on Teams and say, hey, do you have time right now to talk? And I can reply right back and say, yeah, let's talk right now. Or if you say, well, I know I have a test on Thursday, maybe I want to meet with her on Tuesday, then you can make an appointment and we can just go over everything from your chapter. We don't even have to have specific problem sets. We can just review topics. We can go over your notes. We're willing to do anything we can to try to make it better for our students. But on the other side of that, as you're going through your chapter, if you have a homework assignment you want help on, we'll help you with that too.
So if I hear what you're saying is you give one-on-one dedicated time to anybody that reaches out to you, basically.
Yeah, anybody who is an SSS member who needs help with anything related to math, whether it's an assignment, whether they want something in class that the professor talked about that they don't quite understand, or they didn't, maybe the professor did one example and moved on, and you're like, oh, I really wish you would have talked about that a little bit more. They can come to us and we'll give them that extra time that their professor might not have had time in class for.
Well, that's awesome to hear. So students, you heard it straight from Tracy. She is there for you. Luke Fannin, our writing specialist, is there for you, as well as our science, math, and writing tutors. Whether you have a problem or don't, you can get started ahead. And last thing, so Tracy, if I'm still kind of trying to figure out what the best way is for me to get organized, can I reach out to you rather for that too?
Yes, definitely. And you can reach out and we can just kind of have a little talk about it. I kind of have a list that I go through of ideas and things. And that talk could be maybe 10 minutes that will just give you some ideas. Or we could go more in depth and I could sit down with you and we could actually make out a weekly schedule for you if that would be something that a student would be interested in. It all just depends on how much help somebody thinks they need.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. Reach out to our staff. They can help you with things. We hope the semester's getting off to a great start for you. We want to hear from you and what you're doing, so please reach out to your advisors or us in SSS. And Tracy, thanks for taking some time out to have this chat.
No problem. I'm really glad to get the information out there and I hope people will take advantage of it.